Hello everyone, welcome to 3ddesignacademy.com and the fourth Q&A session. In this segment, I will attempt to solve various problems or questions that you guys might have in Alias. If you have a question or an area that's not working out, please feel free to send the model to contact@3ddesignacademy.com. Now, in this particular session, a viewer asked me about a complex fillet situation, and I'm going to show you guys how to tackle this. Now, this is the model in question. So this isn't, now this wasn't in response to one of the Y fillet videos that I had. Well, this isn't exactly a Y fillet, but this does, filleting this particular model is going to be a little bit difficult just because of how sharp the angle is. So let me show you guys how to build this. So before I begin, I want to do a couple things, and right now this rail surface is only 2 degrees. Now this isn't necessary for building the fillet, but I just want to clean up the model a bit. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to do it online. I'm just going to do it over here. It's going to G0 position influence set to max. I'll probably just increase the degree to 3, and the spans I'm going to just reduce to 0. And if you just move the top one, it's not going to, it's not going to move this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do blending extra series of 1 and blend factor of 0 so that everything moves together in unison. All right, I'm going to be doing the same thing over here. So let's just delete the COS over. Well, actually, no, I'm going to leave the COS. However, I do want to mark it. So let's go ahead and put one over here. Actually, I should probably have, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. All right, so let's go ahead and actually let's do this. I'm just going to do a fit curve over here so that I have something to reference. And let me just delete the construction history over here, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of fix here. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing over here. Extra series of 1, maybe make it 3 degrees and just reduce the spans. So it looks like this time it's failing position. So I'm just going to increase to 4, and it looks like that worked. All right, so that's good. And just in case it did move. So I'm just going to re-intersect these surfaces like this. And I'm just going to snap this curve over here like that. Let's get rid of COS2 and let's take a look. I'm just going to project over here like this, and yeah, that's good, much cleaner than before. And let's go ahead and do some fillets. So I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. Now it is not really necessary to fillet this or trim this, I should say. Okay, so what makes this thing difficult is now, if it was a more open angle, what I could do is just put a fillet here. So I would say just core G2, just put something like that. I'll probably have to make it a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and maybe increase to 50. I can just do a fillet over here, and I'll just go around, do something like this. Now, actually, let me just check the continuity on this one over here. Okay, so that's curvature, so that's good. Now the problem is because the angle over here is so small, getting a fillet to go around in the corner like this is going to be a little bit difficult. So there are a couple of things you can do. Actually, let's do this. Let's increase the size to, instead of 50, make it 100, so that's a little bit substantial, because I think the previous one was a little bit too small. And here's what I'm going to do. First of all, these do look like the same surface. So I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. And I'm going to just delete this one over here. And I'm just going to make everything into one piece. Actually, you know what? I think everything is one piece. So let me just grab that. And I'm just going to go ahead and project these over here like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and trim. Now the easiest thing will be to use either a bolt corner tool or the corner blend tool. So I'm going to see if this works. So I'm going to set this to curvature. Actually, let me just save first. I'm going to grab these surfaces. I'm going to grab this one. Oops, I'm going to say accept. Grab this one. I'm just going to see if it runs. Looks like it doesn't. You can try to change the dimension a little bit, but well, this isn't exactly a typical ball corner situation, so it looks like it's not working. Oh, actually, you know what? What am I doing? I should have put a fillet here first. Totally wrong. Okay. So let me set these as 102. So I'm just going, this time I'm just going to set it at default. I'm going to say extend. Now, if it's the same size, that this is going to be the most complex. So I'm going to try to do an example like this. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Let's do a default. I'm going to say edge align over here. And I do need to extend, so I'm just going to turn Bezier on so that the CV structure is a little bit more uniform. Bezier surface, and let's go ahead and do a little bit extend over here. I'm hoping the ball corner tool works. If it doesn't, well, there's a manual way to build it, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so that's that, and let's go ahead and grab the corner blend tool. I'm going to pick the 3 fillets, and I'm going to pick the here the 4th edge. Looks like it's not working. I'm going to try. No, that doesn't work. Okay, so if that's the case, let's turn this off and let's try the ball corner tool. Now the ball corner tool, at least in 2023, has a little problem. So I'm just going to, it's going to cause an M save if you change the option in the middle. So I'm just going to grab it. And what you want to do is you want to grab, you want to basically run the tool first. So I'm going to say go. I'm going to pick the 4th edge like this, and I'm just going to run it. All right. And if you change, now after you run the tool, you can change the settings and it won't cause an M save. But if you don't, then if you change the setting before you run the ball corner, it's going to crash and cause an M save. So you just want to do this first. Okay, and let me just see if I can. All right, so it looks like that's not going to work. Let me just increase the number. Okay, looks like that doesn't work either. I'm going to make it 2. 3. Maybe 1.5. Okay, so it looks like in all situations it doesn't work. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to say undo. And let's do this. First of all, I do want to set up a corner over here, so I'm going to do that first. Now, it's probably going to be quite difficult to achieve a curvature in this situation, but I still want to try it. So let's do this. First of all, I'm going to trim this one, and I'm going to reestablish this one, the fillet over here. So let me just do this. Looks like the manual way is the only way. So I'm just going to extend this, and I'm just going to put the same size fillet. It's going to be 100 like this. You gotta be kidding me. You won't even build it. All right. If that's a case, well, looks like I have to go back over here. I'm gonna say edge align. Oh, I wonder if it's due to Bezier. Well, let's try this. So I'm going to trim this one over here. I'm going to trim this one over here. I'm going to try Bezier again. No, that doesn't work. Okay. All right. I'm going to say untrim. I'm going to untrim over here. I'm going to do a surface fillet over here like this. And I'm just going to delete the construction history. And let's go ahead and I'm going to do a curve fillet over here. So I'm going to make it chord. I'm going to make it G2, and the quarter length, I'm going to probably have to make it a little bit bigger, maybe 200. Now it is very sharp over here. The sharpness really, I guess, doesn't really matter. But what I want to do is, well, actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to increase the form factor. Maybe that's a little bit too big, so I'll keep it at 200. Maybe 250. All right, so something like that, and I'm going to just increase the form factor so that it's a little bit consistent with this shape. I think that might be okay. Yeah, I think that let's do this one. Okay, so that's good, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete the construction history over here. And I do need to make everything into, well, Actually, you know what? The location here is a little bit off. Let's do this. Instead of that, I'm going to just make it a 200. So that I have a little bit of lead over here. Maybe what I'm trying to do is I want to just make sure that the location of this one and this one is a little bit better flow than if I were to just go all the way here, in which case it would have to bend like this. So I just want a little bit of balance. All right, so since this is actually the same surface, I don't need to worry about this poking out, but let's just keep it this way. Okay, so that's good, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete the construction history over here, and I do need to set up some surface here. So let's go ahead and do that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this one up. So I do need a clean edge in order to make a clean build. Now, of course, you can just do a million spans, but I don't like doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab and insert carbon surface like this. And in fact, I don't even know if it's going to build it if I were to just add a million spans. So I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to trim here and I'm going to trim here, and I'm just going to do an insert over here like this, snap it here. And what I'm going to do is just to duplicate the edge like this, delete the COS over here. I'm going to align this side over here like that. And I am going to make it G2. Just snap it over here. I'm going to make sure that this one is G2. So let's go ahead and snap it over here. Oh, blending is on, so you want to turn that off. And I'm going to make sure that this is G2. Looks like I think there's something wrong with the history. All right, so if that's the case, I can just delete the construction history over here. And let's grab this one and do it like that. Okay, and now what you want to do is you just want to make sure that the CV structure is somewhat close. I think this one on the top is, let's just make sure that it is in fact aligned. Okay, so I think the top location is actually looking better. Now, because of this is a fillet, there is going to be a little bit of discrepancy. You can try to match it, but that actually might not be the right location. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and match this one. Now this one does look like it's quite a bit, quite a way. It's quite off. So I'm going to just pull that in. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to project it like this, and let's go ahead and do a trim convert like that. And I'm going to just hide this one just in case I need it. And I can always grab the curve too, like this. And I'm just going to realign. We're to grab G2, align. It's going to be edge over here. You see that there's a little CME movement, which is fine. I'm going to do the same thing over here. It's going to be edge over here. Now it looks like there's a little bit of curvature deviation. That could be due to the flatness of the surface. So let's just check. Yeah, it's 1.0. You see a little spike here and there. So I think that might be due to that. But it's at least tangent, so let's just leave it. And let's go ahead and delete the construction history over here, and let's do this one. Now for this area, here's what I'm going to do. I do need to cut this, but one of the best ways to cut it is just to strike a curve like this, and I'm going to do the same thing over here, like that. And I just like to create a rail. So it's going to be one-on-one. Now this really depends on the angle too, but I think for this example, I think this is going to be good. So what I want to do is use this as a gen and use this as an edge or a rail. And it just creates a nice intersection. So I'm just going to delete these two curves because I don't need them anymore. And I just want to extend this piece like this, and I'm just going to extend it this way. And in order for better visualization, let's just trim this one out first. So I'm going to project here. Let's see. I can just roughly trim it. I'm going to clean up anyways. Oh, no, I don't want to project that one. I'm going to project this one like that. Let's go ahead and trim. Okay, just to show you guys, but I am going to eventually clean it up. Okay, so delete the construction history there. and you see that it's just a single plane. It's just cutting right through that. And let's see, parallel usually works seems to work a little bit better for the sweep mode. Just do that over here. Now this is going to bend, but that's okay. And I'm just going to intersect here, and I'm going to intersect here. Now these surfaces are no longer needed, so you can either hide it, you can delete it, doesn't matter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim convert based on that. And I just want to do that, and these I can hide over here. Now the critical point in this one is you want to use the curvature like this, align, and make sure that this is set to edge. Now it does look like there was a slight movement, so you just want to make sure that that's set to edge so that the flow is 100% natural. All right, that looks good. And I'm just going to delete the construction history, and now you're ready. Now this is, I guess it's more like a ball corner than a Y fillet, but still the same principle applies. You just want to keep the edge all natural and the flow nice. Yeah, so now let's go ahead and build a square. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Notice how I'm using the curve instead of the surface. Actually that looks pretty good, and well, the highlight isn't, but let's go ahead and do this. So 1 is going to be curvature, 2 is going to be curvature, and no, 2 isn't going to be curvature because it's just a curve. 3 is going to be curvature, and 4 is going to be curvature. Now it looks like it did something, however the continuity is all over the place. So now what you want to do is I'm going to do an explicit control. It's going to be 5 and 5. And here's the magic formula. So if I do curvature, you'll see that the CV location is all over the place. So I'm going to just do a collinear boundary 1, 2. Well, 2 is not going to do anything. Notice the CV structure change, 3 and 4. Okay, so it's still failing, but it should highlight is good, as you can see over here. For a complex fillet situation like this, that's actually pretty good. Now the only thing that's left is just to make sure that this CV structure over here is a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to play around with the boundary blend a little bit, see if that makes it a little bit better. Yes and no. However, I think I'm going to pull these out a little bit. I'm going to probably pull those in. All right. So I think this one is good. I think this one is good. Just that these ones that probably needs to be going in a little bit. You know what? It doesn't really do much. So I'm going to just manually build it. Okay. So I'm going to do a slide, and I'm going to do a prop mod. Actually, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do a prop mod. I'm just going to do a slide. So oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, let's just individually do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this one over here. I'm going to grab this one, and this one. I'm just going to slide using this green arrow over here. Let's see if I can actually pick it. Oh, there we go. Looks like picking that one is going to be a little bit better. I'm just going to pull it in. I'm just going to make sure that the CV structure is a little bit balanced. And I'm going to grab these separately, and I'm just going to pull them back over here so that the shape is a little bit better than before. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check the continuity. Sliding the CV structure is going to have a little bit impact here. Actually, no, it doesn't. It's just 1.0 there, so I think I'm just going to leave it there. However, it looks like this does fail tangency. So let's go ahead and fix that. So I'm just going to, well, I'm going to still align a curvature, but I don't expect to be able to fix curvature continuity over here. Okay, so that's actually much better. Pushing influence set to max, and tangent balance probably isn't going to be good. All right, so align there, that's good. Vector, see if that makes it any better. No, actually that does make it better. Okay, so tangency continuity is gone. Now I can try to do this, but since it's only at one point, I think it might not. Yeah, I think I'm going to assume that this is probably close to 1.0 over here. It's going to be really hard to get that to be curvature. Well, I can give it a try. So let's do this. First of all, let me just align a curvature over here, like this. Vector, normal, view. Looks like view works. Okay, so it's 1.0. It's probably due to the flatness of the surface. I'm going to grab this one. Let's see if I can. I'm going to set it to 50,000. Let's see. Yeah, I don't. No, it doesn't really do anything. Let's see if I can set it to 5,000. Yeah, it's just failing position. Okay, so that one I'm just going to leave. Now this one does have a little bit different number, but it's failing position before failing continuity. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay. That said, however, highlight is going to flow beautifully like that. Look at that. That looks pretty nice. Okay, so, oh, actually, looks like that one needs a little bit of work. So let's go ahead and get to that portion. So now that's done, here's what I'm going to do. First of all, let me just delete those carbon surfaces. I'm going to project this one. I'm going to project this one. And for this one, I'm going to just use project align. And I'm going to just do that. And I'm going to just project either from Y. I think Y should be good. Looks like there's a little bit of curvature deviation, but that's okay. I'm going to take a look at what I need to do in order to make sure that everything's good. All right, so deviation here, it's still tangent. That didn't change. Okay, so it looks like there is a little bit of gap. Although I'm surprised by Y. Let's see, I'm going to say normal, Y. No, X is not going to do it. Because this should be curvature. Well, let's see. Just going to grab curvature. I'm going to say edge. I'm going to just align it like that. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. What do you know? I guess that wasn't curvature. So let me actually do the same thing over here. See if that changes everything. But that's it. All right, so there's a little bit of curvature deviation here. I think this one I can fit. So I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. I'm going to just grab this one. And let's see if I can do that. And there it is. So at least that one is curvature. I think these ones, I think they are a little bit sensitive to the fact that it is the primary surface that it is based on is quite flat. But that is how you build a fillet for a complex situation like this. Now this fillet may look like a little bit weird, but it is a single span surface. It's actually very clean for what it is. The CV structure looks good, and the highlights, it's highlighting beautifully. So that's how you would do it. All right, so that's how to build a complex fillet situation, complex fillet for a situation like this. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.